So I really wanted to share with you, when and how should you take someone's advice? There is so much information out there nowadays. It always feels like someone's always got the solution for your problems, when often in case it's not. So I wanted to quickly share with you a useful tool I use when I'm trying to decide when to take someone's advice or take the converse opposite. And this really begins with the distinction between knowledge and experience. That's the only two things we can really offer anyone. I have experience in snowboarding, or I have knowledge of the techniques and how to snowboard. And there is a big distinction between the two. So, like I've given you a brief example there, experience is really how we interpret the world through our sensations, how we experience the world. And this might be through taste, touch, sound, sight. These are very powerful ways to collect information throughout this world. And the other is knowledge, is intellect. This is more of the head. This is the refinement of priority information. You see, the mind is a cutting tool. It will only take that which is most valuable to it, and it will discard the rest. And those are namely the feelings and the sensations in which we experience the world. So on one hand, you have the experience, you have something very visceral, and that is what your memories might comprise of. And on the other hand, you have the logical data behind those experiences. In essence, knowledge is a synthesis of experience and just the raw facts. Now, it's very important to delineate between those two, because then you start to understand that people will only ever offer you these two solutions for your problem. Now, the solution for your problem is going to be purely contextual. It's going to depend on the circumstances. If I'm looking for a logical question, I might be more favored towards a logical answer, something of the head, something knowledge. However, when seeking advice, when seeking something that is more truer to life, I find that the value is always in the experience. See, experience is more of the truth of what is happening and how we interpret something. And that's why we need to discern that the mind is a cutting tool, because it chops and cuts only which is necessary. It's very reductionist. And experience, on the other hand, is more collective, more wholesome, more quality. And in that way, I would always tend to lead towards experience. Let's take an example. You can read about how to swim, you can read books, and you can study articles and peer-reviewed papers, but you're never really going to get the best advice for someone that is a swimmer. That is their experience of someone who has even swum or just swum once. You're more likely to take the information which is more true to the situation that pertains to you. So I really wanted to share that with you today, those distinctions between knowledge and experience. We can get confused and muddled in the way we approach a certain situation, because it always feels like there's converse opposites in the way the solution is presented to us. Take diet, for example. Some people say that a vegan diet is better for your health, and other people say that a carnivore diet is better to your health. My advice is, take the person's advice who has experience with it. Someone can read as many articles they like about vegan diets and back it up with peer-reviewed paper, and that's fine, that's cool. But remember that their knowledge is only a synthesis of experience. If you can cut right to the source and get to someone's experience with a vegan diet, someone's been doing this vegan diet for a year, well, how are you feeling, you know? What is your experience translating to you? You have good energy? You feeling hydrated? You able to do exercise effectively? These are the types of questions you can ask, because the information is more rich, it's more quality, as it's been cut and sliced and diced in so many different ways, and that's what knowledge is. What you also find is knowledge can almost be a rehearsal of a memory. Someone may read something in a book or an article, and only take in and absorb which is relevant to them. In that way, your answers become a rehearsal of what someone else has already said, and there's no connection there. So, seek experience and be cautious of knowledge. And if this resonated with you today, I invite you to like, subscribe, and please join the dialogue below. Have you been taking knowledge, or have you been choosing experience to fuel your decisions for the future? Finn.